An ECG, or electrocardiogram, records the electrical activity of the heart over time. It is one of the most common and important diagnostic tools in healthcare. It helps detect heart problems such as arrhythmias, heart attacks, and other cardiac conditions. Let's begin with understanding what an ECG represents. The heart's electrical activity starts in the sinoatrial SA node, which is the heart's natural pacemaker. The electrical signal spreads through the atria, causing them to contract and push blood into the ventricles. The signal then moves to the atrioventricular AV node, down the bundle of His, and into the Purkinje fibers, causing the ventricles to contract and pump blood to the lungs and the rest of the body. This sequence of electrical activity is captured on an ECG tracing. To interpret it, we need to understand the different parts of the ECG waveforms. The P wave represents atrial depolarization. This is when the electrical signal travels through the atria, causing them to contract. It is usually a small, rounded wave that appears at the start of each cardiac cycle. The QRS complex represents ventricular depolarization. This is when the ventricles contract to pump blood. The QRS complex is sharp and tall and is the most prominent part of the ECG. The T wave represents ventricular repolarization. This is when the ventricles reset electrically, getting ready for the next contraction. The T wave is usually smooth and rounded. Now, look at the ECG paper. It is made up of small squares and large squares. Each small square represents 0.04 seconds, and each large square, which contains 5 small squares, represents 0.20 seconds. Vertically, each small square represents 0.1 millivolts. Understanding this grid is essential because it allows you to measure time intervals and amplitudes, which are critical in identifying normal and abnormal patterns. Next, let's learn about intervals and segments. The PR interval is measured from the start of the P wave to the start of the QRS complex. It reflects the time taken for the electrical impulse to travel from the atria to the ventricles. A normal PR interval ranges from 0.12 to 0.20 seconds. The QRS duration represents the time it takes for ventricular depolarization. A normal QRS duration is 0.06 to 0.10 seconds. A prolonged QRS may indicate a conduction delay or block. The QT interval is measured from the start of the QRS complex to the end of the T wave. It represents the total time for the ventricles to depolarize and then repolarize. A prolonged QT interval can be dangerous and may lead to life-threatening arrhythmias. The ST segment is the flat section between the QRS complex and the T wave. Elevation or depression of the ST segment is a key indicator of myocardial ischemia or infarction. Now, let's move on to heart rate calculation. There are several methods to calculate heart rate from an ECG strip. For a regular rhythm, use the rule of 300. Count the number of large squares between two consecutive R waves and divide 300 by that number. For example, if there are 4 large squares, the rate is 300 divided by 4, which equals 75 beats per minute. For irregular rhythms, count the number of R waves in a 6-second strip and multiply by 10. This gives an approximate heart rate. Next is rhythm interpretation. Start by asking if the rhythm is regular or irregular. Look at the spacing between R waves. If they are consistent, the rhythm is regular. If not, it is irregular. Check if every QRS complex has a preceding P wave. This tells you whether the rhythm is originating from the atria. Measure the PR interval. Is it normal and consistent? A prolonged or variable PR interval can suggest heart block. Examine the QRS complex. Is it narrow or wide? A narrow QRS suggests normal conduction, while a wide QRS may indicate abnormal conduction through the ventricles. Inspect the SD segment and T waves. Any elevation, depression, or inversion should prompt further evaluation. Let's go over common arrhythmias that you might see on an ECG. Sinus bradycardia is a regular rhythm with a heart rate below 60 beats per minute. P waves are present before every QRS complex. It can be normal in athletes or during sleep, but may be caused by medications or heart disease. Sinus tachycardia is a regular rhythm with a heart rate over 100 beats per minute. It is often a response to stress, fever, dehydration, or pain. Atrial fibrillation is an irregular rhythm with no distinct P waves. The baseline appears wavy or chaotic. It increases the risk of stroke and requires anticoagulation in many patients. Atrial flutter shows a sawtooth pattern of flutter waves, usually with a regular ventricular response. Supraventricular tachycardia, or SVT, is a narrow complex tachycardia with a rapid heart rate, usually above 150 beats per minute. It starts and ends suddenly. Ventricular tachycardia is a wide complex tachycardia originating from the ventricles. It is a medical emergency and can progress to ventricular fibrillation. Ventricular fibrillation is a chaotic and disorganized rhythm with no recognizable waves. It represents cardiac arrest and requires immediate defibrillation. Now, let's discuss myocardial infarction, commonly known as a heart attack, and its signs on ECG. ST elevation indicates an acute myocardial infarction. This is a medical emergency requiring urgent reperfusion therapy. ST depression suggests myocardial ischemia, which is reduced blood flow to the heart muscle. Pathological Q waves are a sign of a previous myocardial infarction. They are wider and deeper than normal. T-wave inversion is another sign of ischemia or infarction. Hyperkalemia, or hypotassium levels, can cause peaked T waves and eventually lead to a wide QRS complex. Hypokalemia, or low potassium, may cause U waves and flattened T waves. Now, let's go through practical tips for ECG interpretation. Always check the patient first. An ECG monitor may show an abnormal rhythm, but you should assess the patient's clinical condition before reacting. Use a systematic approach every time you read an ECG. Look at the rate, rhythm, P waves, PR interval, QRS complex, SD segment, and T waves. Compare with previous ECGs if available. Changes over time are often more significant than isolated findings. Be aware of artifacts. Movement, poor electrode contact, or electrical interference can create false readings. Ensure proper lead placement. Incorrect placement can mimic pathological patterns. Practice regularly. The more ECGs you read, the more confident you will become. Now, let's briefly discuss the 12-lead ECG. Each lead provides a different view of the heart. Limb leads include leads 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVA, and AF. Chest leads include V1 to V6. Leads 2, 3, and AF view the inferior part of the heart. Leads I, AVA, V5, and V6 view the lateral part of the heart. Leads V1 and V2 view the septal area. Leads V3 and V4 view the anterior wall. Recognizing which leads correspond to which part of the heart helps in localizing myocardial infarctions. For example, ST elevation in leads 2, 3, and F indicates an inferior infarction. ST elevation in V1 to V4 suggests an anterior infarction. Now let's discuss common mistakes beginners make. One common mistake is not checking for artifacts. Always ensure the tracing is clean before interpreting. Another mistake is forgetting to measure intervals. Always check the PR interval, QRS duration, and QT interval. Some beginners focus only on heart rate, and miss important clues in waveforms. Always follow a step-by-step method. Finally, over-reliance on monitors is a mistake. Bedside monitors can misinterpret rhythms, so always review the full ECG strip. Let's summarize the key steps for basic ECG interpretation. First, calculate the heart rate. Second, determine if the rhythm is regular or irregular. Third, check for P waves and their relationship to QRS complexes. Fourth, measure the PR interval. Fifth, examine the QRS duration and morphology. Sixth, look at the SD segment and T waves for signs of ischemia or infarction. Seventh, review the entire tracing for any abnormal findings. By consistently following these steps, you will build confidence and accuracy in ECG interpretation. Practice is essential. Use ECG practice books, online simulators, and real patient ECGs under supervision to improve your skills. Remember, ECG interpretation is a combination of pattern recognition and systematic analysis. Over time, you will develop an eye for spotting abnormalities quickly.